okay?
No, he said that the criminals were coming over, which is a fact.
Is it?
I mean, some have come over, yes. So why should I be put into that category? Why should I be looked at as a bad person because I like guns?
Are you? Does media do that to you as a white male?
Of course. Oh, I'm the white man thing.
Oh, you are, aren't you?
Yeah. Got good eyes.
Does anyone on the left actually care about racism? Or is it just being used as a Zelensky-esque tool to polarize the sheep into bleeding what they have been told is true? Because according to Dolly Kyle, the former high school girlfriend of Bill Clinton, Bill and Hillary Clinton regularly used racial epithets and looked down on poor people. Kyle makes the accusation in her book, Hillary, the Other Woman. In addition to calling mentally disabled children at a governor's mansion Easter egg hunt effing retards, Kyle says Hillary referred to the people of Arkansas as ignorant hillbillies. Hillary also allegedly used derogatory terms for Jews, including effing Jew bastard. Bill, Kyle insists, called the Reverend Jesse Jackson a GD N-word. Latinos were similarly slandered and profiled. Kyle continues, for no good reason, Bill and Hillary decided to profile Hispanics as drug dealers. Specifically, Arkansas troopers were to stop and search cars driven by Hispanics, especially those cars with Texas license plates. Clinton's criminal apprehension program was ruled unconstitutional. Kyle continues, Billy threw one of his infamous temper tantrums about the ban on his racial profiling of Hispanics, and he threatened to renew the racial profiling program in spite of the court's ruling. The Daily Beast notes, Clinton's Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, authored by then-Senator Joe Biden, was supported by virtually every Democrat in Congress, including then-Representative Bernie Sanders. That legislation led to the mass incarceration of black Americans. Legal scholar Michelle Alexander notes, Bill Clinton presided over the largest increase in federal and state prison inmates of any president in American history. Alexander accused the Clintons of decimating black America and said Hillary does not deserve the black vote. In response to pressure by Black Lives Matter, Hillary apologized for her role in pushing for the bill. Despite Hillary's alleged racism, a large number of blacks, especially in the South, turned out to vote for Clinton during the primaries. The Huffington Post notes, both Clinton and her husband, former President Bill Clinton, have traditionally had solid support from blacks, a key component of the Democratic electorate. In May, a Fox News poll revealed 62% of Latino...
All right, you can watch the rest of that video on the Alex Jones channel on our YouTube. Bring that up, guys. It's The Clintons, the Real Racist right there. It's from John Bound. Also, report, released criminal aliens commit nearly 10 times more crimes than the Obama administration told Congress. Who's right?
Political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing. This country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
But you might be classified as an Eastern Republican. Fair?
I guess you could say that, yes.
Which means kind of a Rockefeller, Chase Manhattan Republican.
I never thought of it in those terms.
How do you define? Are you a Bush Republican?
No, I think I'm really, the people that I do best with are the people that drive the taxis. You know, wealthy people don't like me because I'm competing against them all the time, and they don't like me, and I like to win. The fact is, I go down the streets of New York, and the people that really like me are the taxi drivers and the workers, et cetera, et cetera. And I really get very
Why are you a Republican?
I have no idea. I mean, I am a Republican because I just believe in certain principles of the Republican Party.
You have flirted with the idea of politics. Now you're here at your...
And that is why they call him the blue-collar billionaire, because he resonates with blue-collar people. He's a likable guy. He's an everyman. And that's why the establishment on both sides hate him, because he's not an elitist. There's stories of him going into kitchens of his restaurants and passing out $100 bills to his staff. And it's more than one story. And that's because he likes the people that work for him. And when he hires people and they're loyal, he returns that in kind. And a couple things he said right there, just in that short video, and I'll get to the name of that video in a second. He says, talking about living like kings and how he's tired of the American people getting ripped off. He said that back in 1989. It's like 15 years ago he was saying that. And it's still true today. What does he talk about in his speech? He's tired of America being second. He wants the American people to be first in the eyes of America and not being treated as second-class citizens. And you can watch that whole video. You go to this article here. This video will get Donald Trump elected if it goes viral. We put this out on June 9th. Alex was talking about it. It was big back then. It got over 1,100 comments on Infowars.com. 27-minute video. And it's got 1,500,000 views as of this point. A little bit over that. All right. And our next guest actually created this video. His name's John Acquaviva, and he's not even an American. Okay. He was born in Venezuela. He left Venezuela back in 2014. He was forced from Venezuela because he was added to the cyber terrorism list by the government because he incited violence on social media platforms, is what the government said. Probably because he said, hey, we shouldn't be living like animals and the government shouldn't own everything. And, of course, they took his family's land, and it's still being abandoned today, and I'm going to let him talk about that. And now he's living in Britain. So he'll have a pretty good idea from an outsider's point of view of what people are talking about in Brexit. Because sometimes you get a different point of view from somebody who's living there than somebody who's an actual citizen of there than somebody who's living there but who's politically savvy and knows what's going on. Sometimes the people living there don't even know what's going on. You go to your own country here. How many people does Mark Dice interview of American citizens who think you could just go watch some of the Mark Dice videos that we should ban water, or that I can't think of some of his more classic videos, but these are citizens living in our own country and think the Bill of Rights should be abolished, among other things. Anyway, his name is John Acquaviva, and we're going to have him on in 1 second. We're hooking up his Skype connection now. But before we get to him, today is the last day of the Tim Kennedy special. 15% off Super Male Vitality, Brain Force, and Secret 12 at InfoWarsLife.com. And I used all three of these at different points. I don't use Super Male as much because I'm not in a workout mode right now, but I use Secret 12. I use Secret 12 and Brain Force, both on my trip to Bilderberg. And actually, the morning I took Secret 12 was the actual day I chased down Petraeus, where I had my backpack full of gear. It was so hot, I had taken off my jacket and had that folded inside my backpack. And I'm doing an interview with this other guy who's handing me flyers of all of his stuff. And I'm interviewing him as he's getting hassled by the police for writing on chalk. And I see Petraeus jog by, and I'm like, gotta go. That's the guy I'm looking for. And I started asking him a question about, he had to resign because of his email server getting hacked, or his emails getting hacked. And how come Hillary hasn't had to resign? It's been proven her email server's been hacked numerous times. Who knows who has all these secrets? Trump brought that out. We don't even know what the enemy knows because she deleted all those emails. So Trump's the guy who wants to put America first. Hillary is a witch who wants to put the Saudi Arabian kingdom first. We know that because those are the people that are paying her off. And so anyway, go to InfoWarsLife.com. Check out the Tim Kennedy special. It's the last day it's going on. Super Male Vitality. It's our biggest seller. Brain Force and Secret 12. Brain Force, you've heard me talk about it over and over again. Also, Deep Cleanse, 20% off. And then we have the amazing Hillary for Prison T-shirts. The first one, you get 50% off. The second one, 75%. Might as well get 3 or 4. Pass them out. Give them as pre-Christmas gifts. Give them as 4th of July gifts, okay? Wear your shirts proud, because when you wear that shirt, people will notice. It's a great conversation starter. You'll find like-minded people immediately. Even if they're not Trump fans, hey, you can all be anti-Hillary fans. In fact, part of Donald Trump's speech that he had was appealing to Bernie Sanders voters. and just saying, hey, look, join our movement. We're anti-establishment. We're by the people. I'm not spending $1 billion on. People want to talk about how Trump doesn't have all this money in his campaign. He doesn't need to put as much money because, one, he's got the truth on his side, so he doesn't have to pay as much for his lies. And two, he knows how to work these idiots in the mainstream media to where they talk about him and talk about him incessantly. They were talking about his speech, or not even his speech, in on Fox News, just one of the things he tweeted for 20 minutes. That's free airtime, folks. That's how he's getting it done, which my hat's off to him. He's getting the media to talk about him. I wonder how they're going to talk about this Hillary speech, especially MSNBC, if they're even going to bring it up. They'll probably pretend it didn't exist. Do we have John on the line now? Okay. Well, I just talked to him on this number in here. Maybe we'll just pipe him in through the cell phone. And it seemed to be working. But we're going to get him on. Let's play that Bernie Sanders clip, how he was appealing, just basically saying, hey, look, you're not going to vote for Hillary. You might as well come on over to the Trump side and help make America great again. Here's that clip.
The insiders wrote the rules of the game to keep themselves in power and in the money. That's why we're asking Bernie Sanders voters to join our movement, so together we can fix the system for all Americans so important. This includes fixing all of our many disastrous trade deals, and they are disastrous. They're destroying our country. Because it's not just the political system that's rigged, it's the whole economy. It's rigged by big donors who want to keep wages down. It's rigged by big businesses who want to leave our country, fire our workers, and sell their products back into the United States with absolutely no consequences for them. It's rigged by bureaucrats who are trapping kids in failing schools. It's rigged against you, the American people. Hillary Clinton, and as you know, most people know, she's a world-class liar. Just look at her pathetic email server statements or her phony landing. Or her phony landing in Bosnia, where she said she was under attack, and the attack turned out to be young girls handing her flowers. A total and look, this was one of the buttes. A total and self-serving lie. Brian Williams' career was destroyed for saying less. So remember that.
That's exactly right. And we played a little bit more. He got a little extra Trump in there, and we were doing some war gaming. We had John Skype, and then it kept dropping, and he's not answering his phone, so he may not join us this segment. We got a few minutes left in here. And I was hoping we get to interview him to get his perspective on Venezuela, the Brexit, and also talk about why it took somebody who wasn't even American to try to wake up America. Because, a lot of people have been woken up. And, it's funny that the establishment is so mad they've created all these lies. I think the Huffington Post says on every article about Trump, they're like, this man is a racist, sexist, xenophobe. They just come up and they put it on every article. Because they can't stand that somebody who's not an establishment darling, somebody who isn't bought and paid for, who isn't going to keep things as they are, is running for president. They're so mad, and they believe in the lies so much. They just love it. And here's one of the other lies that they love to talk about, how Hillary is a friend of the gays and the lesbian community and women, yet she takes money from all these Saudis and all these other Middle Eastern countries who treat women as second-class citizens, who throw gays off buildings, who openly proclaim that gays should have their heads cut off. And whether you believe in that lifestyle or not isn't of my concern. You're not out there saying they should be killed and have their heads cut off. And you don't have to believe in that lifestyle. That's what makes America great, is that you don't have to agree with somebody else. But we have this land, and there's plenty of land for everybody, and we can have room for everybody. Now, after the events in Orlando, a Houston gun shop decided to give free gun safety lessons and gun courses to the LGBT community. And we so happen to have our reporters Kit Daniels and Michael Zimmerman driving from Dallas from a Trump event to Houston. And this is in the northern part of Houston, up I think in the Woodlands, said, hey, go interview this